Hello, I am Amy and I am a very spoiled bookaholic. Hi and welcome back to BookTube with Amy. Today is going to be my birthday book haul and I have quite a lot of books to get through, so I'm not going to tell you too much about them. I'll just tell you sort of title, author, who got me them, etc. And I have quite a few piles to go through, so I will talk firstly about some books that I purchased for myself for my birthday, because I forever live in a treat yourself mentality, but when it's my birthday month I take it really far, and I will literally, even though I didn't ever really deny myself anything, but I will not deny any urge that I have to buy a book. So I have a fair few that I've purchased for myself. And then I have a pile from my parents and my sister, and then I have some that some lovely other booktubers and friends have sent me also. I literally have them in piles like all on my floor on my library at the minute, so I'll go grab them. Oh. So these are the books that I bought for myself. So first up I bought The Oaky Witch by Emma Steinkellner. This is the second book in this graphic novel series that I started this year or last year. It just has all merged. This is the second one, so I needed to get this and read it for my I seriously need to finish this challenge. And also Marvelathon is coming up. I'm Team Scarlet Witch. It's a witchy graphic novel with red on the cover. Feel like that might fit a few prompts, so I got myself this one. I then got myself Ballad by Maggie Stiefvater. This is the second book in the Lament duology, and I have Lament. Yes, I do, I was just checking, but I didn't have Ballad, so I thought I would get that to finish the series, because I will never pick up Lament until I have the second one, because I don't have the physical capability to only read one Maggie Stiefvater book. I will binge them all, so I need to make sure that I have them. And then I have I Was a Teenage Ghost Hunter by Brian K. Henry. This is a self-published horror. This is a self-published horror book, and Brian actually reached out to me on Twitter and asked if I wanted to review a copy of his book, and it sounded great, so I purchased myself a physical copy so that I could give that a wee read, and I will be reading and reviewing this on my channel as part of Indie August. I then bought myself Heartstopper Volume 1 because I have never read these, and I know that's a travesty. These are all shouting at the telly right now, or the phone, or however you're choosing to watch me. I get that, I'm a scumbag. But this looks really cute, and they have been on my radar. It's never been one that I have actively picked up. But everybody was at me to read them so that I could watch the Netflix adaptation, which I obviously want to read. It just sounds really queer and cute and lovely, so I thought I'd get this as well. And then I'm really excited for the next ones. So I, for the last year, have been trying to get more into sci-fi. And when I say trying to get more into sci-fi, I have bought loads of sci-fi books and I have read maybe one. And it was awful. But I've heard loads of people raving about the Wayfarer series by Becky Chambers, and I actually have like the wee novella that goes with that, To Be Taught Fortunate I think it's called, and I have a lovely hardback signed edition that I got through my Chronicle book box when I was subscribed to them, and so I didn't want to get rid of that and then rebuy all this series in paperback. But it's really difficult to get the original series in hardback, but after literal hours of skimming the internet I managed to find some people who were selling them, and so I got the first 4 books in the Wayfarer series by Becky Chambers in hardback, and I am absolutely buzzing. So the first one is A Long Way to a Small Angry Planet. I then have A Closed and Common Orbit by Becky Chambers. I then have Record of a Spaceborne Few by Becky Chambers, and then also The Galaxy and the Ground Within by Becky Chambers, and then also To Be Taught Fortunate in a box somewhere. So I am hoping to read these next year, because I'm not starting any new series this year until I've finished all the series that I am currently reading. How many times have I said that? Are you sick yet? Me too. So I'm hoping to read and love these next year. I know that they get a lot of hype, and a lot of people say that they're a really great introduction to sci-fi because they are very character focused books, and they're just sort of feel like delicate and lovely and a nice easy wee ride, as opposed to it being like full on intergalactic war with 50 races and, you know, 18 books of history and 37 books on how the technology works and a whole hoard of information, which is what sometimes puts me off sci-fi. So really, really excited for these. I'm absolutely buzzing. I spent far too much money on them, and you know, I was saying to Simon, I was like, I think this is too much, I don't think I should buy these, and he was like, well, don't buy them then, which is his way of saying, aye, it is too much, but he's not going to tell me it's too much. And I was like, no, you're right, I'm not going to get them, Ken, it's too much, it's daft. And then I got paid and they were still on, like, being sold, and so I was like, I'm getting them, and that's what happened. And then these are the books that I got from my parents for my birthday. So we can go through these. So I got The Dark Archive by Genevieve Cogman, which is the 7th book, I think, in the Invisible Library series, and it was the last one I needed to complete my collection. And how absolutely gorgeous is this with the dark purple and the gold. I can't tell you how much I love Genevieve Cogman's covers, like they are so seriously stunning. But no doubt I will be finishing this series this year because, like, I'm addicted. And then I got Goldilocks by Laura Lamb, and this is another sci-fi one that I added to my list because it had been recommended on BookTube. I'm really excited to get to this one. Then they also got me The Book of Magic by Alice Hoffman, which is the 4th book in the Practical Magic series, and I needed this one to finish up my collection, so again, I can hopefully read these books next year. Buzzing. They also got me The Lost Acre by Andrew Caldecott, which is the last book in the Rotherweird series. Again, it was another one that was high priority on my wish list so that I could get that series finished, so that they were on my shelves and I could get to read them. Do you sense a theme here? People encouraging me to, you know, finish my series. And then they also got me Mr. Impossible by Maggie Stiefvater. This is the 2nd book in the Dreamer trilogy. I have the 1st one on my shelf. I have not read it. The 3rd one is coming out this year. I'm not reading it until the last one's out because, as previously mentioned, can't control myself when it comes to Maggie Stiefvater's writing. So they got me this one as well. And then they got me Defy Me and Restore Me, which is the 5th and 6th book in the Shatter Me series, and Simon already got me the 7th, so I now have the rest of the Shatter Me series on my shelves waiting to be devoured. And then they also got me Hecate, and this is by Lorena Alvarez. I read the first one, was it Nightlights? Yeah, I read the first one, Nightlights, last year, and it was just thoroughly adorable, really beautiful. And this is the 2nd one, so I can't wait to get this and read this also. And that'll be another series that I have caught up with. Oh, so productive. And then these were all from my sister for my birthday. So she sent me Love in Other Words. This is actually an anniversary present because she really wants me to read it. She is continuing her tirade of getting me into romance novels. In fairness there, she recommended Verity and The Love Hypothesis, and I really like them both, so hopefully this is going to be another high starring read. And then she also got me the Alchemist Collection, which is the Michael Scott series that I again have been wanting to read as part of my I seriously need to finish this project. I read the first one a couple of years ago, thoroughly enjoyed it, and typical me fashion, never continued. I reckon that I will reread the first one and read through the series, and I'm so excited. And then this is a present from Simon. He just utterly spoiled me, as he always does. He got me this, and he got me a velvetizer from Hotel Chocolat for making hot chocolate in the house, which is just amazing, like the best hot chocolate I've ever had in my life. And if you see me piling on the pounds over the next wee while, it will be because I'm consuming my weight in hot chocolate. He also took me to Milton Keynes so that we could go see My Chemical Romance and Placebo, which was just amazing and such a great birthday gift. And he also got me DVDs and other bits and bobs also. But this book, I'm so buzzing for. So I already own this book. I am aware that this is excessive, but whatever. So he got me the hardcover edition of House of Leaves by Mark Z. Danielewski. It is the remastered full coloured edition. Let me tell you, I have been perving on this book. Someone wrote it. So I've been looking at this edition. I obviously have a lovely floppy paperback edition, which is great, but this just looks so beautiful. And this is actually one of the first things that me and Simon bonded over when we first started dating, because I had never met another person who had read this book, and he read it and he really enjoyed it. And one of the first presents that he and I bought each other was Mark Z. Danielewski's book that was out at the time, Only Revolutions. So we just sort of bond over his books now because we're geeks and it's cute. So he bought me this and it's just absolutely stunning. Just so beautiful. Let me try and show you some of it. So obviously the book is all laid out mentally anyway, but it's got blue in there, it's got some red in there. Every time the word house is mentioned, house is in blue. If my camera wants to, yep. And it's just gorgeous, so I was so excited to receive this, like actually buzzing. He's too adorable. I'm very lucky. And then some books that I have very kindly been sent. So I was sent Legend and Lattice by Travis Baldry from Lisa over at Lisa Does Life. I was on sprints with her a few weeks ago and she was raving about this book. I had said, oh, that's on my wish list, I really want to get to it, because Becca from Rebecca raved about this book and absolutely sold it to me. And so Lisa sent me and Jem from Bookish Gems a copy because she is just lovely, and I will definitely be reading this as part of my Indie August TBR. And then at the beginning of May, I caught the Rona and was quite sad about it, and so Silka from Danish Readaholic sent me 2 books, which was so lovely. She sent me Escape Room by Christopher Edge, and she sent me Yesterday's Crumb and The Storm in the Teacup by Andy Sager. And so these are both middle grades. I added quite a lot of middle grade to my wish list because it was something that I was just sort of starting to get into, and both of these seemed really up my street and just absolutely gorgeous covers, so I'm excited to read both of these. Thank you very much, Silka. And then Ange from Angie's Book Chatter sent me An Elderly Lady Must Not Be Crossed by Helene Thurston for my birthday. She also bought me the first one of this for my Christmas a couple of years ago, and I just read it this year and loved it, so I'll definitely need to get round to this soon. And then she also sent me The Prettiest Star by Carter Sickles. This has been on my wish list for a wee while. Thank you very much, Ange, very much appreciated. And then from Bonnie over at Purple Bookish Frog, I cannot talk. She sent me The House at the Edge of Magic by Amy Sparkles. Again, it's another middle grade book that I added to my wish list because it just looks absolutely delightful, and this one gets quite a lot of love on BookTube. And then she also sent me, at the totally opposite end of the spectrum, Sour Candy by Kaelyn Patrick Burke. I know that she really loves this, so I can't wait to read this myself. And again, this will be on my Indie Author August TBR. So thank you very much, Bonnie. And then Chelsea from Relaxation sent me These Witches Don't Burn and This Coven Won't Break, which is a duology about teenage witches, which sounds absolutely amazing, so thank you so much, Chelsea. I also totally forgot, jumping back in, that Simon and I went to the Irate Festival, which is a festival in Glasgow held at the Mitchell Library. It's a book festival. They invite different authors who have new books being released to come and chat, and they do like a talk about their book, and then there's a wee bit of a Q&A, and then you can meet the author and get your book signed. And so you went to go meet Jess Phillips. She has a new book out called The Life of an MP, Everything You Really Need to Know About Politics, and we managed to meet her and get her book signed, which was really cool. She was hysterical, so funny, such an engaging speaker, and I just really down to earth and lovely, so also should include this in the haul. this is basically just, it's not a memoir. She basically tries to break some politics stuff down and make it really accessible for the everyday person, so that if you are somebody who is hugely into politics, then hopefully this would help get you on the way. And also just sort of includes some funny anecdotes and stuff about her life and her time in the Houses of Parliament as an MP. So I can't wait to read this. I really love Jess Phillips. I obviously am a really politically driven person. I talk about that a lot on the channel, about my politics and my opinions, and a lot of the books I read have political undertones in them. Even the fantasy that I read, I like when they have really developed political systems. So we are politics geeks in this household, so I should include this also. Thank you so much to everybody who has gifted me books or who has wished me a happy birthday. It was absolutely fantastic, and I'm very sad to say that this will be my last year in my 20s, but I have been absolutely spoiled and I had such a wonderful time. I will put in some clips and pictures of My Chemical Romance and stuff, because it was just like the best gig I've ever been to in my life, and I'm very emotional about it. It was just amazing, because it wasn't like a tour for either of them, and they weren't really promoting a set album. They played a lot of different songs, which I am buzzing about. So I've seen Placebo on 2 other album tours now, and they predominantly play songs for that album because that's what they're trying to promote, right? And because they were supporting for My Chemical Romance, they did play some songs for their newer album, which was great, and they played the songs I would want to hear them have played, but they also played some old favourites that I have never heard them play live before, and I was like geeking out, let me tell you. I feel like people weren't giving Placebo the love that they rightfully deserve at the gig that I was at, which I was a wee bit salty about, but they were brilliant. They played One of a Kind, which is one of my favourite Placebo songs, and they rarely play that live. They haven't played that live since like 2014 or 2015, and unfortunately they weren't any of the gigs that I was at, so I have never heard them play that live, and they played it and I was buzzing. And they also played Kitty Litter, which is one of my favourites. Oh, they played that. They played Bionic, which is such an old song, and like Placebo were obviously like when I was in nappies, to be honest. They're an older band, and so all these older songs for their earlier albums that I absolutely love, I just like resigned myself to the fact that I was never going to hear them play them live unless they do like an anniversary tour or something. But I got to hear some of them, and so I was buzzing. You should have heard me. I had like no voice the next second day for single-handedly screaming the place down for them. And then My Chemical Romance was just amazing. It was such a brilliant atmosphere, and it was just so good. It was honestly phenomenal. And they played just some of my favourites. Before we left, Simon did a wee video and he was like, right, what do you hope they play? And I had said a couple of songs, and I had said that I hope that they play a lot of their earlier music, because I have seen a lot of their later stuff live, and so I hope that they had played some of that, because again, I've never heard that live, and they don't usually, because it tends to be a bit heavier. Oh my god, did we get the heavy gig. They played so much of their earlier stuff. It was just absolutely phenomenal, and obviously they played a lot of their hits as well. It was great, and it was such a great atmosphere, and I'm so glad I got to share it with Simon. Like, it was brilliant. But oh my god, let me tell you, I will never go to Milton Keynes again in my life, ever. That place is an actual labyrinth of hell. Like, you can't just walk from like A to B, you've got to go like A, C, D, B, E, B. Like, it's such a confusing place to live. If you live in Milton Keynes, like, my thoughts and prayers are with you, and I don't know how you cope. But anyway, I am rambling now. Thank you so much again to everybody for all the lovely books, all the kind messages. It really does mean a lot. Hopefully you're all enjoying everything that you're reading at the moment. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.